You've been sitting in that salon chair for 50 years and nobody, not one stylist, has ever sat down and told you the truth about which cuts actually work after 70. They trim what you came in with. They keep you comfortable. And you leave looking exactly the same as when you walked in, which might be the problem. Here's what I've spent months researching. There are 3 specific haircuts that do something remarkable for women over 70. Not in a vague softer or younger way. In a completely specific, visible, measurable way. The kind where people stop you and ask what you've changed. And the reason most women never find out about them is that stylists don't volunteer this information. You have to walk in already knowing what to ask for. I researched the worst style and beauty mistakes and the best fixes for women over 50 and over 70 specifically, so you get real results fast. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I cover this every single week. Part 1: The Layered Bob. The cut that rewrites your jawline. Here's something almost nobody talks about openly. After 70, the jawline softens. Not because anything is wrong with you, because fat redistributes, collagen thins, and the angles that once defined your face become gentler. That's not a flaw, but a blunt one-length bob, which is what most women over 70 are wearing, makes that softening dramatically worse. The weight of a blunt hemline pulls the hair downward, which in turn drags the visual line of your jaw downward with it. You end up with a shape that emphasizes exactly what you don't want emphasized, and obscures the bone structure you absolutely still have. The layered bob fixes this at the architectural level. This isn't just adding a few texture cuts at the ends. A properly executed layered bob for a woman over 70 starts with layers that begin above the ear. Not at the chin, not at the collarbone, but above the ear. This is specific and important. When layers start high, they build volume through the crown and the sides simultaneously, which lifts the entire visual silhouette of the face upward. The jaw reads as more defined. The cheekbones, which are still there, still strong, still yours, suddenly have something framing them rather than competing with them. The fix is so specific that you need the exact language to request it. When you sit down in that chair, say this: I want a layered bob with internal layers starting above the ear, keeping the perimeter soft rather than blunt. Those words, internal layers, above the ear, soft perimeter, will communicate everything your stylist needs to get this right on the first cut. A soft perimeter means the hemline is point cut or razor finished, rather than cut straight across. That finishing detail alone eliminates the harsh horizontal line at the jaw that a blunt cut creates, and replaces it with a gentle, slightly diffused edge that visually lifts rather than drops. Here's what shifts the moment you have this cut. The light catches differently. Volume through the top and sides of the head catches light and reads as fullness, which reads as vitality. When your hair has no internal layers, when it's sitting flat and weighted, it catches light only at the surface and absorbs shadow everywhere underneath. That's the specific visual mechanism behind why flat, blunt cuts read as heavy and aging. It's not mysterious, it's physics. A woman named Rosalind came to understand this firsthand. She'd had the same blunt chin-length bob for 11 years. Her stylist had been trimming it faithfully, same shape, same hemline, clean and neat. But when Rosalind looked at photographs from the past few years, she kept noticing something that bothered her without her being able to name it. The shape of her face looked heavier. Her jawline looked lower. She told me she thought it was just age. She was wrong. She switched to a layered bob with the internal layers starting above the ear, and within 3 months of growing into that shape, her face looked completely different. Specifically, her cheekbones looked higher and her jawline looked more lifted, without a single thing changing about her face itself. The cut was doing the visual work. The specific swap here is this. Out goes the blunt one-length bob that weighs the jaw down, and in comes the layered bob with above-ear internal layers, and a soft perimeter finish that lifts the entire silhouette. And the next cut, the one coming up, is the one most women over 70 completely overlook because they think it's too short for them. They're wrong, and I'm about to show you exactly why. Part 2, the textured pixie, the cut that adds volume where you've lost it. Most women over 70 hear pixie cut and immediately think, that's for someone else. Someone bolder, someone with a different face shape, someone younger. That reaction is completely understandable, and it's also costing you. Because a textured pixie cut, executed specifically for mature hair, doesn't read as severe or harsh or too short. It reads as deliberate, polished, and full. It reads as a woman who made a decision and knew exactly what she was doing. The reason this cut belongs in a conversation about women over 70 specifically comes down to one biological reality. Hair density decreases with age. Almost every woman over 70 has finer, less dense hair than she had at 40. This isn't uniform. Some women retain good density through their 70s, but the majority notice real, visible thinning, especially through the crown, the temples, and along the part line. When you wear your hair long or in a traditional bob with thinning hair, every inch of length adds weight that pulls volume downward. Thinning hair under its own length becomes limp, flat, and lifeless. Not because there's anything wrong with how it's being styled, but because physics is working against you. Length and thinning hair are a bad combination. A textured pixie cut removes the length that's flattening your hair and replaces it with shape and deliberate texture that works with the hair you actually have. The word textured is doing a lot of work in that sentence, and it's worth being specific about what it means. A textured pixie is not a close-cropped, military shortcut. It keeps length through the top, typically 1 to 2 inches, and cuts the sides and back shorter, but with a technique called point cutting or razor texturing at every edge. This creates soft, diffused ends rather than hard lines. The result looks effortless and dimensional, never severe, never harsh. Here's the specific language to bring to your stylist. I want a textured pixie with length kept through the crown at 1 to 2 inches, razor finished or point cut at the sides and back, with soft pieces around the hairline at the temples. Those temple pieces, the small soft wisps of hair that frame the forehead and temples, are non-negotiable for this cut on a woman over 70. They soften the transition from hair to skin at the sides of the face and prevent the cut from reading as too geometric or severe. The snapback result of this cut, the thing that visibly changes how people read you, is this: a textured pixie with crown volume and soft temple pieces shifts visual weight upward and inward toward the center of the face. This is exactly the opposite of what thinning hair worn long does. Long thinning hair draws the eye downward and outward, making the face red as wider at the jaw and narrower at the eyes. The textured pixie reverses this. The volume sits at the crown and the top of the head, which draws the eye upward, toward your eyes, toward your expression, toward the part of your face that communicates the most. Colette had fine, thinning silver hair that she'd been wearing in a shoulder-length style for years. She was using volumizing products religiously, blow-drying with a round brush, doing everything right by the book. And her hair still looked flat by noon every single day. She switched to a textured pixie after her stylist finally had this specific conversation with her. And within one appointment, that daily volume battle was over. Not because her hair changed, because the cut was now working with her hair density, rather than against it. The exact swap. Out goes the shoulder-length or mid-length style that collapses under its own weight by midday, and in comes the textured pixie with crown length, razor-finished sides, and soft temple pieces that hold shape from morning to evening. The third cut is the one I saved for last because it's the most misunderstood cut in hair care for women over 70. And once you hear the right version of it, you'll understand immediately why it works. Part 3. The soft shag. The cut that restores movement when your hair has gone still. There's a specific moment a lot of women describe when they look in the mirror, sometime in their early 70s, and notice that their hair has stopped moving. Not literally, it still moves when the wind blows, but it has lost that quality of life, that bounce and sway, that sense of animation that hair used to have. They try different products. They try different blow-drying techniques. Nothing brings it back. And they accept it as just what happens. They're wrong. The movement didn't leave because of age. It left because the cut stopped working for the texture their hair has now. The soft shag is the cut that restores it. A shag cut, specifically the soft face-framing version built for women over 70, is built on layers, but in a completely different architecture than the layered bob from part 1. Where the layered bob focuses its layers through the sides and crown, the soft shag distributes layers throughout the entire head, from the very top through the mid-lengths and to the ends, creating a cascade of movement that animates the hair with every shift of the head. The word soft is doing critical work here. A hard shag has blunt, defined, heavy layers that can look dated and abrupt on mature hair. A soft shag is all feathered, seamlessly blended layers with no visible ledge between them. The hair appears to flow from one length to the next without interruption. Face framing pieces are the non-negotiable element of a soft shag for women over 70. These are the layers cut specifically around the hairline and temples to frame the face, softer, shorter, feathered pieces that fall forward and frame your features rather than disappearing into the rest of the hair. They function the same way a great portrait frame functions. They draw attention to what's inside rather than to the frame itself. For a woman over 70, face framing pieces also visually narrow the forehead and soften the temple area, both of which can broaden with age. The language to use with your stylist. I want a soft shag with fully blended, feathered layers throughout, with face framing pieces at the temples and hairline. I do not want visible ledges between the layers. I want everything to blend seamlessly. That last part is critical. Stylists who aren't experienced with soft shags sometimes cut defined ledge layers, which create a chunky, dated, 1970s effect rather than the modern, fluid movement you're going for. Seamlessly blended is the phrase that keeps this from going wrong. Here's what the soft shag actually does to how you're read by others. Movement in hair signals health at a very instinctive, almost unconscious level. Hair that sits flat, stiff, or still registers as lacking vitality. Even when nothing is medically wrong and the hair itself is fine. Hair that moves, catches light differently with each small shift, that has visible texture and flow, registers as alive and vibrant. This is not a superficial observation. It's rooted in how human perception works. A soft shag gives your hair back the quality of movement it lost when you were wearing a shape that was too heavy or too uniform to allow it. Diane had medium-length gray hair that she described as having given up. Soft but flat. Cooperative but lifeless. She'd tried every volumizing product on the shelf. What she hadn't tried was the one thing that actually addressed the problem. A cut that created movement from the inside out rather than trying to manufacture it with products applied to the outside. After her first soft shag, she told me the hair felt lighter on her head than it had in 10 years. Not because it was shorter, but because the blended layers had removed the accumulated weight of uniform length sitting on top of itself. The swap. Out goes the static, heavy, uniform length style that has lost all animation. And in comes the soft shag with seamlessly blended feathered layers and face-framing temple pieces that give the hair back its movement. Now here's the part most videos skip entirely. Knowing the 3 cuts is only half of it. The other half is walking into a salon and actually getting what you came for. Part 4 is about exactly that. Part 4. How to walk into any salon and actually get the cut you want. You could know everything in parts 1, 2, and 3 perfectly, walk into a salon, and still walk out with a trim of whatever you were already wearing. This happens constantly, and it's not because the stylist is bad at her job. It's because of a very specific communication gap that almost nobody talks about. And once you understand it, you'll never have another salon appointment where you left with less than you asked for. Here's how most women over 70 approach a salon visit. They sit down, the stylist asks, "What are we doing today?" And they say something like, "Just a little off the ends," or "Can you freshen it up a bit?" Both of those phrases mean the same thing to a stylist. Preserve the existing shape, remove half an inch, and move on to the next chair. They are not requests. They are instructions to do nothing. And the stylist, who is not trying to shortchange you, follows them exactly. The shift is this. You need to walk in as the person who already knows what they want, not as the person hoping the stylist figures it out. There are 3 things to do before you sit in the chair, and every single one of them matters. First, decide which of the 3 cuts from this video you're going to ask for, the layered bob, the textured pixie, or the soft shag, and write down the exact phrasing you're going to use. Not a photo, not a description of a celebrity's hair, not something like what I saw online. The specific phrasing. Because the phrasing is what communicates technical information to the stylist, and technical information is what gets you the right result. Internal layers starting above the ear, soft perimeter. Textured pixie with 1 to 2 inches of crown length, razor finish sides, soft temple pieces. Soft shag with fully blended feathered layers and face framing pieces, no visible ledges. Write it down. Have it on your phone. Read it out loud to the stylist if you need to. Second, Ask one question before anyone picks up a tool. Can you tell me in your own words what you're going to do? This single question transforms the entire appointment. It shifts control without confrontation. The stylist describes the plan back to you, and you hear immediately whether she understood what you asked for. If she says, "Sure, I'll thin it out and soften the ends," and you asked for a textured pixie, that's the moment to correct it, kindly and clearly, before a single cut is made, not after. Third, if the stylist pushes back, and some will because stylists have their own default shapes they like to cut, and they sometimes assume they know better, hold the line without apologizing. You don't owe anyone an explanation for the cut you want. A simple, "I've done my research and this is what I'd like to try," is complete. You don't need to justify it, soften it further, or let her talk you into a compromise that was never yours. The compromise is always in the direction of whatever she was going to cut anyway. There's one more thing nobody mentions, and it might be the most practical tip in this entire video. Bring a reference photo, but not of the exact cut. Bring a photo of the specific element you most care about. If it's the volume at the crown of a textured pixie, find a close-up of that crown volume. If it's the face framing pieces of a soft shag, find a shot that shows just those temple pieces clearly. Showing a stylist the whole haircut in a photo often results in her noting what she can't do rather than focusing on what she can. Showing her the one specific element you want gives her something she can absolutely deliver. Marguerite had been going to the same salon for 14 years. Same stylist, good relationship, completely comfortable. And every time, she left with a version of what she'd always had. Slightly shorter, slightly neater, completely unchanged at the level of shape and architecture. She started using the three-step approach from this part, wrote down the phrasing, asked the question, held the line. And for the first time in 14 years, she left with a genuinely different cut. Not because the stylist couldn't do it. Because Marguerite had never before been specific enough to ask for it properly. The cut you want already exists. The stylist who can give it to you probably already works at your salon. The only thing standing between you and it is the conversation. And now you know exactly how to have it. You just got the full picture. 3 specific cuts that work at a structural level for women over 70, and the exact salon conversation that gets them done right. The layered bob that lifts your jawline. The textured pixie that works with your density instead of against it. The soft shag that gives your hair back its movement. And the 3-step approach that makes sure the stylist actually delivers what you ask for. That's real, specific, actionable information. And you have all of it right now. Tell me in the comments. Which of these 3 cuts are you most curious to try? I read every single one. Next week I'm covering the color mistakes that age women over 70 faster than any cut, the specific shades and techniques that are working against you, and what to ask for instead. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.